Welcome back to the channel, and this week we will be looking at the 2011 Raiders, who actually got off to a hot start and were on pace to win the division for the first time since 2003. Led by McFadden, who was starting to live up to his high potential, leading the NFL in rushing through 7 weeks of the 2011 season. McFadden Campbell was also providing very solid quarterback play for the team until in week 6 he went down with the ACL tear, which ended his season. Palmer was brought in from Cincinnati to replace Campbell. However, the team struggled down the stretches. Palmer was rusty, and McFadden went down with a Lisfranc injury that kept him out of the last 9 games of the 2011 season. They ended up finishing 8-8 and missing the playoffs by a game. Also, at the same time, legendary owner Al Davis had passed in November of 2011, leaving a massive power vacuum in the organization. So I chose the 2011 Raiders for this video because this was the main team that I wrote within Madden 12. And it was a lot of fun using a team that a lot of people slept on, but still being able to get wins. Naturally, since this was an Al Davis built team, you know they had speed at every skill position, which made the offense deadly on Madden when you could set up the play action with the threat of McFadden and go up top to guys like Jacoby Ford or Darius Hayward-Bay, who had blazing speed. I would say a lot of the Raiders wide receivers on this game were examples of those guys who in real life never really panned out that well, but on Madden they were beasts. Hayward-Bay, 97 speed, before 98 speed. Oh, he was nice on the kickoff returns as well. And I mean, that's just how the Raiders were built at the time. Not to say it was the best strategy. As we all know, the Raiders have well-documented draft failures from probably about 04 to 2011. And I mean, I can only say maybe about 2 of those picks out of the era actually panned out, and that was like Robert Gallery and of course McFadden. Everyone else just never really lived up to the hype because, again, what Al drafted on or whatnot. He honestly just couldn't adapt to the modern game, but his ego wouldn't allow him to accept that. He probably should have stepped down from the GM position in the early 2000s. You could probably say that this is the last Raider team that was built in his image. And we're going to go ahead and move on to the defensive side of the ball, and to be honest, they are what caused the Raiders to miss the playoffs that season. I recall Calvin Johnson cooking the Raiders secondary because they decided to put a middle linebacker on him for some reason, and then they went down to Miami and just got the doors blown off of them. Despite that, they still had some decent pieces in Richard Seymour, Ronald McClain, Lamar Houston, and Tyron Branch. So from a perspective of playing with them on Madden, they were decent enough to get the job done. Honestly, in their defense, Palmer did turn over the ball a lot. I believe he had about 16 interceptions in only 10 games played. So when you already have an average or below average defense and you have a quarterback that comes in and he's turning the ball over a lot, that never helps your case. The thing about Campbell is, while he was conservative, he did take care of the ball a lot. Very similar to Alex Smith. Honestly, I feel like if he had gotten a good defense around him and some weapons and was able to stay healthy, he could have had a couple of playoff wins under his belt. And you know, for me, Madden 12 was really the first Madden that I actually played online competitively. I never got a chance to get online for the original PS2 or Xbox Live, and I had just got my PS3 the Christmas before this came out. So this was really the first Madden I actually got to see what the competitive landscape looked like and what was used to it. And honestly, it took me a while to get adapted to it. It wasn't until I started using the Raiders that I was able to pull off wins. And I know most people are going to say, oh, well, if it's the Raiders, you know, why are we using the Raiders? Why would anyone use the Raiders? But again, this was the year the Raiders were a game away from making the playoffs. In fact, Denver got very fortunate towards the end of the season that the Raiders collapsed and Tebow's heroics were able to get them in. Because if not, then it's Oakland going to face Pittsburgh in the playoffs. And let's be real here, the Raiders always have the Steelers number for some reason. It doesn't matter what the records are. So we're talking about a different narrative. Tebow doesn't get the folk hero status that he possibly has right now without that playoff appearance and without that win in the playoff game. Also, Hugh Jackson probably doesn't get fired at the end of the season. And to be fair, before Cleveland happened, I thought that he always had a raw deal in Oakland. Unfortunately, he proved the Raiders management right or whatnot. Following this season, Oakland would go into a rebuild, where they acquired the talents of Derek Carr, Amari Cooper, and Khalil Mack, who led them to a 12-4 campaign in 2016. However, that came to an end in the playoffs as they were going within with the third string quarterback. His car broke his leg. Sadly, the fans of Oakland never got to get another home playoff game, but at least the last home playoff game in Oakland was an AFC title win over the Titans, so there's that. Anyways, thanks for checking out this week's video, and I'll be back with more next week.